Let's bring in Heritage Foundation's Jim Carafano. Jim, good to see you. How should the U.S. respond?
Well, there's two things here. One is we have to keep the straits open. We have the military capacity in the theater to do that. We don't have to respond for this. The second is we got to keep the pressure on Iran, and what helps with that is building up international pressure. So every time the Iranians step over the line here, I think they make the president's case for him. So I think right now the U.S. has responded well, and we should just keep up the strategy that we have.
This has been going on, Jim, really since 1979, right? I mean, since essentially that attack on the U.S. Embassy, this Islamic Republic has been at war with the United States. But just help me understand. I mean, Trump said earlier in the day, he tweeted that Iran had made a mistake. And then in that clip we just watched, he seemed to suggest that, in fact, they had literally made a mistake. Which is it? And if this is truly a mistake, I mean, is he expecting an apology from the Islamic Republic of Iran?
So I think there's two different things here. One is technical, which is what exactly happened. And they have to go through all the intelligence, really kind of roll the tape. And that requires, they may have heard things from the Iranians, they may have captured information, and they've got to process all that to figure out exactly why they did. Did they do a mistake? Did they do it on purpose? But the second is the strategic, where they made a mistake in the sense is their aggressive activities really just make the U.S. case for them that they're a bad actor, and they confirm the importance of the United States staying in the region and keeping the waters open.
Jim, I'm going to take it up to just the negotiation level. You have the Trump administration that walked away from the nuclear deal. If I were Iran's supreme leader, I don't think I would want to face embarrassment and have to come back to the negotiation table if the U.S. walked away first, and at this point doesn't seem to be providing any concessions. Do you think that that could be their mindset?
Well, I think what their mindset is why should we even negotiate with Donald Trump?
Exactly.
We don't know if he's still going to be president in a year and a half, right? But the other is, remember, the Iranians live in a tough neighborhood. If you look weak, you're on the menu. So the Iranians want to wait Trump out, but they just can't stand there and do nothing. So they have to do some stuff that makes them look tough, but they don't want to be so provocative as to get into an escalation with the United States. So they're looking for that middle ground.
Jim,
Hey, Jim,
sorry, it seems to me that it's really important to bring our European allies around on this. They have really resisted our withdrawal from the JCPOA. They resisted the increased tensions. But now, as Jonathan said, Iran is kind of making our case for us. What do you think will bring the Europeans on board? Because clearly what Trump is signaling, not that he thinks it was a mistake, but he doesn't want to close the door on negotiations. I mean, that's how I read that. I would think that's how the Europeans read that. What can we do to get them in the room?
Well, I think two things. One is don't do a disproportionate response. If they shoot down a drone and we bomb all their nuclear facilities, people are going to see that as blatantly escalatory. So the United States has to keep their eye on the ball, which is to keep the straits open. You do that, and meanwhile, you let the Iranians make the case for them that they're the bad actors. And you raise a really good point and Trump said this repeatedly, is look, when you guys want to stop being stupid and come to the table and do a deal that just doesn't make you happy, but it makes the Europeans happy, it makes your neighbors in the region happy, it satisfies the United States, we all benefit, we'll do that. I think, realistically speaking, that's not going to happen until after the election. But until then, the U.S. has to focus, keep its eye on the prize, build consensus behind the U.S. position, and continue to keep the straits open.